Alright, so I queued into this to pretty much get my dailies done, and I'm playing Shadow Creep, um, pretty much .deck. I don't run the one drop guy because I just felt like he was super inefficient. Like, yes, he can get the creep down and make my Shadow Nova survive, but I'm running the 4 drop 3/6 just because it's kind of large. People have to deal with it, and like pretty much I can usually get 1 to 2 creep off of one of them sticking. Most of the time though, they kind of just get shot in the face or they waste like their board resources to deal with it. Whereas if I was just running the 1 drops, it's not as efficient. So pretty much, start off with the normal. They go Jaxi, drop Jaxi, drop Primus Fist. I kept the Bloodmoon Princess because I figured if they went for the additional mana, went up and like dropped a guy, I could probably get 2 or 3 1/1s and force them to burn some spells because bouncing Blood Moon won't do too much, and chromatic holding it will pretty much allow us to get Jaxi down. So like sometimes they would already chromatic hold the Jaxi just because they don't want to deal with the 1/1. So after seeing that, I just most of the time you can get in just because the first couple turns chromatic hold is gonna blow you out most of the time anyway. So I'm definitely not used to explaining this game at all. So try not to hate me too much. If anything, feel free to mute and just watch. In this position, I'm trying to like determine how best to use the Blood Moon Princess. I figure I'll throw it in the back, force him to run over to it. Something I didn't take into consideration though was that I put it in a spot where the general could get to it, which was relatively bad. I should have put it next to my mini Jaxi. Because realistically, right here, he would have been able to rock up, punch it, and then shoot it for 1, even if he didn't cast the Razor. Pretty much just have to wait and see. My hand looks pretty decent. I have options. So here I decide not to take the extra damage by attacking the 4/2 or the 4/3 to drop it and then kill it, because I wasn't going to gain anything from my 2/1 that was left over. It's going to die to the mini Jaxi, so I decided to save some life and switch it over. I killed the 3/1 flying attacker. Move this guy in front so the hero cannot get to my mini Jax. Pretty much hoping that he will attack the 1/1, then run over to my mini Jax and attack it. Plays the Primus Fist to block my Mystic. I'll likely open the battle log because I checked it, but for some reason it doesn't pop in the replays. Because I always constantly look at it to determine what I can grab with the Alkaline Lore Master. And I'll leave this here so you can see the current stats at all the time. Sorry about that. He played a teched out Crossbone, which kind of threw me off, but not badly enough. I switch out. What do I switch out there? I don't even know what I replaced. But yeah, pretty much relatively simple. I keep everything out of the way of my guys, kill his guy, and then pass turn to see what he decides to do. I'm pretty sure at this point I realized I kind of messed up and left myself in range of the crossbones. And the extra damage would pretty much hurt right here. So the crossbones never attacked, or if it did attack, he healed it, and I just wasn't paying attention. Um, so it allowed my lore masters to trade with it, and then I'm clearly setting up a Shadow Nova turn. Decided to run away, because any damage from this guy could turn into lethal, or put me in range for it. We really don't know what he runs besides the 4-drop guy that pumps. He doesn't have much to do because he can't go and attack me, so he just pretty much sets up to block me in. But as you can see from my hand, I'm at 8, so I have quite a few ways out of this. If I wanted to here, I could Shadow Nova again and then run away, but I didn't deem that a viable option. I decided to go take out the 4/4, run over, and Dancing Blades is 3/3. It puts me in a much better position, board wise, and he's kind of blocked up on the bottom, so he can't really play guys under the Dancing Blade. He can only get one spot in there. Um, from a deck construction point, Shadow Nova is very interesting, pretty much because uh, people tend to clump up, or you have to summon next to stuff. So most of the time, you can kill 2 creatures with it, and it makes Grasp of Agony very interesting. Once you get to 8 mana, because you can hit 2 things for 4, and then reach out with the extra 3, or let's say something large like a Dancing Blades. Put it on the little mini next to it, so that the Shadow Nova hits both of them, and then the 3 damage goes off and kills the Dancing Blade. So I'm at 9 at this point. Just lure it, kill the guys, make sure there's nothing on the table. And I went in that specific spot because it blocks the opponent off quite a bit. Um, if he summons anything on any of the spots, it's going to die. And if he wants to get next to me, he has to come over here. So he clearly wouldn't. He would have to summon around these edges and pretty much wait. So it'll allow me to back off and then hopefully start blocking up there so that he only has a single pathway to go through. So pretty much here I decide that Shadow Nova is going to pretty much be the only way for me to win this game. So I'm going to re-get a copy of it since it was the last spell played. I actually forget what I decide here. Okay, yeah, I traded in right away. Just because he hasn't played a Chromatic Cold, and that guy would instantly die to it. I don't play the Darkspine Elemental just because he has not cast any of the chromatics, and if I cast it and he bounced it, it would just die. So since that's like 5 to 6 of his pieces of removal, there's just no point of me casting it. So I think that's where I messed up. The Mystic probably should have been behind me to avoid the Dancing Blade play. I already saw a Dancing Blade, I think, from him, yeah, earlier, so I should have been more careful about it. I decided to only get 3 spots with the Shadow Nova, because I want to tick off the other portion of the Fenrir, because I can't deal with it any other way. And I'm setting up another Shadow Nova anyway, so what I didn't even think to do here though was put the Misting in front of my guy, primarily because let's say he was going to run over to Dancing Blade it, he would have had to have run into this spot over here to do it. He Hailstone Prisons his own guy here, which is totally interesting. And then he, I believe he Mark of Solitudes it here as well. I've been trading out the Abyssal guy, pretty much because I'm all in on Shadow Novas right now, and casting him wouldn't do anything for me. So I put him away and hope to get something super useful. The Vorpal Reaver has never done anything for me, but he does scare the crap out of the opponent. So I just play him, because 6-drop 6/6 with Celerity pretty much says deal with me or die. So one thing I'm not sure if he realized, I was really afraid of it. If he chromatic holds his own guy, it stays the 5/5. So like he could actually start hitting me with it after. I moved up 1 space just to see what happens. Because at this point I have 19 health and I'm welcoming whatever guys come up because I just want them to die. He'll clearly summon over here, which will set up my Grasp of Agonies also. So according to what I assumed from the play, he was kind of walking into it. I didn't expect the Keeper of the Veil though. At this point, I'm really just not even sure what I'm going to do. I end up summoning the Abyssal, hoping that he'll trade both of these guys into it. And then I just have to deal with the Keeper that will be over here somewhere. And if it attacks me, it attacks me. But I put down the 31/31, expecting it to go away. I'm hoping he just doesn't have Chromatic Holds in hand, which he clearly has. And he would just have to like bounce it back to hand. That just isn't very likely though. Okay, so he Chromatic Holds here. And my guy unfortunately dies. That was the first Chromatic Hold cast all game, so it's kind of expected at that point. But I'm in a relatively rough position because I've cast Shadow Nova 4 times already, and his guy's not dead. Like, it's pretty unheard of. I had to keep killing creatures with it, so the deck's clearly relatively weak in that aspect. I'll figure that out at some point, I guess, but it's pretty interesting to play. I'll show you guys the list after. I completely forgot to show it in advance. So he attacks me there. It looks nice for me because I can set up the Dancing Blade. The most interesting here might have been that the Fenrir was back here instead of next to me. And I'm really not sure why that is. Because from where he's at, I can back up and he can't attack me. And then if you're wondering why I didn't ephemeral shout this guy, for some reason I was thinking I was on his side of the board and that it didn't have infiltrate, so I didn't care about it. And I think it took me about one more turn to realize that I'm retarded. But yeah, so like this Fenrir has no good way to get across. Like the way I set this up, there's no way to run without it dying. So he gives up one of the abilities in order to just get in so he can start casting guys again. But like if this was over here, actually if it was over there, he would have in much worse position because I would have dispelled it, then killed all three of them off of the dancing blade. So it actually makes sense why he didn't cast it there. But I feel like there were different areas he could have cast it. I'm trading stuff out at this point. My deck only has 11 cards left in deck, and it's primarily guys. I dispel the 2/1 at this point because I don't want to deal with it anymore. And I attack it. I probably should have jumped up here for that though. Or yeah. How did I even kill this guy? I'm not quite sure. Did both pieces just die? Oh no, okay, was it? I dispelled it, grasped it to kill it, and then it was left over. Sorry, I'm like half paying attention. But yeah, the game's pretty scary at this point, but I've got 3 guys down, and none of the removal for Vanar is, I guess I would say, legit. Like, it's ridiculous at tempo. You're like, oh, you catch a 5-drop, bounce it, whatever. But at this situation where my hand's low, none of the bounce spells are going to do anything besides give him an extra turn. And the chromatic colds aren't killing 4/5s and 3/6s. So he hailstone prisons just to get it out of the way for a turn, which is fine by me. This part gets kind of scary. He saber spines and roughs my guy up. Like, he must be thinking at this point where I can't reach it with this, like what tricks I have left to pull. I cast a Twilight Sorcerer first, hoping to hit a Shadow Nova, just so that I know in advance what's going on, but I don't find it. Instead, I find a lore. So play the Blood Tier, kill his guy, run more creatures forward. Pretty generic. At this point, I'm afraid of him dropping a Rush guy and killing me. Like, he could still do it here, where he could run up to here, Cyberspine, and then Chromatic hold me, and I would die. So I play Scare and run into the corner, just in case. Because if for some reason he doesn't have the Chromatic hold and Cyberspines me, but then leaves his guy there, he's dead. But pretty much he plays his 4/4, heals up. Can't do too much. His hand's only 4 cards. I know I'm not going to go swing at anything, so I think I trade out the Spectral Blade there, and I think I redraw it or something. Demonic Lure 4/3 over. Swing at him a bunch. So I cast a Blood Tier Alchemist here primarily just to not allow him to retreat backwards without casting a spell. He's not going to retreat down, or if he does, he'll come down over here, which is fine because the amount of space he's gaining is minimalistic. Whereas if he runs it here, um, then if something like one or two guys are here, it makes it hard for me to get to him. Whereas it's here, because of the lore, I can just throw whatever guy out the way and just pile in. But pretty much I already know in my mind that the breath is going to do a lot of work because these guys are going to be put at like 2, and I'll be able to heal them. He cats a bunch of guys just to block the way. So I contemplate for a while um, how to kill him, and I can't get lethal because I can't have any of these 3 guys die off. Like if any of them could just die from the attack, I would win. And none of them will. So there's nothing I can do there. If for some reason the Snow Chaser was here, then I would just lower Breath of the Unborn, Primus, and kill him. Because I would Primus here after moving that guy down, so all 3 get the trigger, then move them both over, finish the game. Can't do that, so I just do this instead. Attack, make a shadow spot, and to put damage on him, attack, heal, and I have 1 Breath of the Unborn in the deck, primarily because I only own 1. But the 2 damage AoE is really good for dealing with mini Jaxies or was it True Jax? Because I have no other way to deal with that guy besides casting several spells. So I want a Breath of the Unborn to get out of that situation. But I find that the 2 damage and the heal these minions to full health is super relevant. Sorry. He cast the 2 chromatic holds, put me at 1, and then scoops. I had added him just a short bit before that to talk because he was cool. And that is pretty much the entire game. I'll show you the deck list. Like, it still requires a lot of tweaking and work. I don't have a ton of cards. I have a bunch of Spirit, but I just refuse to spend it. Everything I've got is from Gauntlet. So this is the deck right here. Hero, 2 Grasp of Agonies. I used to run 3, but people are already used to dealing with Grasp, so that they really do their best to make sure you can't 3-for-1 them off of this. I only own 2 Void Pulses, so that's all I run. The 2 Blood Tier Alchemists are to deal with the Jaxi meta, as well as allowing Dancing Blades to pretty much murder the 4-drop. I forget the name. Emerald Rejuvenator. It's also relevant for small things like I go and attack something with 3 health and poke it off. Works very well with Demonic Lures too for random damage that I need to get a guy out of the way or kill it. 3 Demonic Lures because it's a really good card. I'd run Repulsor Beast if I didn't have this card, so I just go with this instead. 1 Darkspine Elemental just because I know I'm running Shadow Creep. Even if I just get 1 off of the 4/4, 2-drop 3/3 is fine. And I don't expect him to live. He's just kind of random after most of the removal is gone, and hope to get there. I only have 1 Dream Gazer, and that was from the January rewards, so that's why there's only 1. 2 Ephemeral Shards because the spell's really strong. I don't know how many times this guy's dispelled something ridiculous and prevented me from just auto losing the game. And as normal, 3 Healing Mystics, 3 Jaxies. There's only 2 Primus Fists because I actually only own 2, but I think at this point I'm running a bunch of 2-drops, so I just wouldn't even fit the 3rd one in anyways. The only time I really care about this guy is if I'm playing against Magmar, and that's to get like Abyssal Juggernaut out of the that 5-cost spell that kills all the 3 combat and lowers. 1 Spectral Raid because I only own 1. So I actually have 3 Lore Masters, but I found them to be pretty sketchy. Or not sketchy per se, but not as strong as I need it. Like, I can't cast it and Shadow Nova in the same turn because I'm not running Manaforgers. So I just went with 2, pretty much to steal the opponent's spells and use them against them. 1 Night Soros Acid removes Emerald Rejuvenators very well. If I need to go hit like a Dancing Blade and then hit it with my hero, it kills it. I have one Ritual Banishing because I only own one. A lot of the time I end up trading my 2-drop or something, a Lore Master for a 5 or 6-drop if there is one, or if something's pretty bad. It's very good at killing Vitruvian creatures, and I think at that point you'll take whatever you can get, because when someone third wishes, you were scrambling to kill that guy, and a 2-drop plus this does the job. I have 3 Abyssal Juggernauts in the deck. I think I might actually cut one and try to figure something else. Um, I don't know where I could really go with it. That's like early game. Like the I've been having problems keeping up, and it's always gonna happen. So I think cutting one might work. Bloodmoon Priestess, I was testing it out just to see if making a few 1/1s made the mid game a bit better, because there's a lot of trading going on with my deck. Until I get to Shadow Nova, and then it's try to take board control and not let a guy stick. One Breath of the Immortal, I already told you, really good for just killing random stuff or random traits that people just aren't used to from Abyssian. One Emerald Rejuvenator, I only own one, and it would obviously be in deck just because it's ridiculous. 4 health is really strong, especially since your hero swings. So a lot of time, this is just attacks on 2/2s, or even getting 4 damage on your opponent's champion and then healing yourself. I only own one Twilight Sorcerer, or I would be running more. I think if I get more of them, I'm clearly just going to take out Blood Priestess and Abyssal Juggernauts for them, because they do everything in the deck. Like, you can't go wrong if you have a bunch of Void Pulses and Grasps, Demonic Lures, and then late game, set as up more Shadow Novas. 2 Dancing Blades, because they're really strong. They also set up really solid Grasp of Agony tricks. 1 Vorpal Blade, because I don't have, I forget his name, the Spectral guy, the 7-drop. Spectral Revenant, or otherwise it would be that guy, because that guy's so much better at clearing ending games and just dealing with whatever's on the board. And then obviously 3 Shadow Novas, because that's the whole deck. But that's the whole list. It was a really good game. Thought it was fun, and I watch people always asking for Shadow Nova decks. It's not that good, but I've been playing it, and I'm at rank 6 right now. I got, I think, one more Chevron to be at Diamond. So hopefully this helps anybody out that has some questions about random stuff. And sorry you had to wait this entire time to see it. Sorry. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the game. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. Peace.